Hi, I'm Jay Allen from My TrueNORTH, and in this short video we're going to look at both testimonials and feedback and the importance that it plays in our ongoing business relationship with both customers and prospects. Now, first of all, we all understand the importance of being able to receive positive feedback, the importance of being able to get a customer to be able to talk about the positive experience that they've received as a result of our interaction with them. And we should all be proactively being able to encourage customers and prospects to be able to give us and leave us that necessary feedback. It's a massive part in our marketing, and I know how much of an important part it plays in being able to give the reassurance to prospects that there are other people like them that already see the benefit of what we're providing. But I also want to talk to you about the darker side. The side that perhaps we don't want to consider exists, but I can assure you it does. And unless we spend some time looking at this side also of the not so pleasant feedback, then we're perhaps missing a massive trick. So let's quickly start with a couple of stories. First of all, I used to work for a company where I, for a brief period, was responsible as the retentions officer. I was responsible for being able to ensure that there was a customer relationship so good that they felt compelled to stay with us for longer and longer and longer. And my job was to be able to monitor the retention of an existing customer and then determine as to whether we could elongate their presence or their membership with us. So I studied some data and learnt that we were losing about 8% of our membership every month that they remained a member with us. We'd lose about 8% of our overall membership in month 1 of the year. We'd lose a further 8% in month 2 and a further 8% in month 3. There was a significant problem with regards to being able to retain that current ongoing relationship with the clients, which is why I'd been designated to be able to review this particular problem in the business. Now, don't get me wrong, the business was growing quite significantly because we were adding about 20 or 25, sometimes even 30% new members every month into the top of the funnel. But obviously, it's far easier to be able to continue to market to an existing customer, a customer that's already got a good relationship with you, than it is to try and continue to market to a client that hasn't yet got the relationship with you. So it was vitally important for us to be able to establish as to what was happening and how we could retain that relationship going forward. So I spent a significant amount of time and effort and money going to find these 8%. Now, I must make it quite clear, when I got in touch with them, and initially I didn't get in touch with them by email, I made sure that I either made contact on the telephone or I went to go and visit their premises. But when I got in touch with them, I made it blatantly clear that I was not there to try and resell membership to them. I took full responsibility on behalf of the company and acknowledged the fact that on this occasion we got it completely wrong, and as a result of which I understood their need and desires to be able to leave our membership services. I had no intention of trying to have some form of can you come back in, give us a second chance type stuff. That wasn't the purpose of my visit, and they needed to understand that very quickly, that I wasn't there as some gimmicky salesman that said, sorry, will you give us a second chance? You see, I wanted to get the truth, and the only way to be able to get the truth from a dissatisfied customer is to be able to be on their side, be on their page, understand their current frustrations and acknowledge where we went wrong, as opposed to just say, yeah, give us a chance and we'll put it right. So that's what we did. I travelled to the 4 corners of Great Britain. I even went across to Isle of Wight to be able to go and have lunch with one particular client. And I asked the question, what did we get wrong? Just, if you've previously enjoyed good service from us, then can you tell me at what point it ceased to be a good service to the extent that you felt after a significant period of time of a membership where you've obviously enjoyed what we did, feel the need that we'd dropped the ball somewhere and we got it wrong? Can you just advise me as to why you'd stayed for so long and what changed? Why was there a sudden shift or a temporary shift or possibly even a little slow burn of a dissatisfaction with regards to who we were and what we did or the value of the money that we provided? And I made it quite clear that none of this was going to be either recorded or reported back or he said, she said. but it was vital for me to understand as to how we could possibly improve for the future. And sure enough, people were very willing to be able to tell us as to where we got it wrong. In fact, they went to quite some length to tell us as to exactly how we got it wrong. And it was beautiful. I could have actually paid them to be able to do so. I should have paid them to do so, because the information that we learned from speaking to about 20 or 30 members or previous members gave us the understanding and the ability to be able to find out where the holes were in our business that we hadn't identified, and we weren't learning from the happy customers. We needed to learn that from the unhappy customers in order for us to be able to go back, to review what we'd done, and to make some amendments with regards to how we either sold the package or informed people of the package, or who we were attracting to try and sell the package to, in order that we minimised that problem. And it worked. We halved the retention failure rate from 8% down to less than 4% in 6 or 7 weeks, and it continues to depreciate quite significantly more as the time went on, as we really embedded this new learning into the business. So that's the first story. It's about the importance of being able to gather all feedback as opposed to just positive feedback. However, the other quick story I want to share with you is about when we receive unjust negative feedback. I used to stay quite frequently at a hotel in Manchester. Now, I'm one of those people that if I'm going to work with small business owners, then I want to know that every single time I'm investing in a small business. So as a matter of course, I won't stay in large corporate hotel chains. I will always, wherever possible, find a privately owned or bespoke style hotel in order that I know that my hard-earned money is going to support another small business. And on this occasion, I was staying in a private hotel, quite a boutique hotel, in the city of Manchester, in the central city of Manchester. And I'd stayed there several times previously. I got to know the owner relatively well. We shared some stories over a drink one night in the bar about what I did and what he did, and given some advice and thoughts and suggestions with regards to his business. But there was no particular interest in him wanting to come and join our services and take professional advice from us. He was happy with where he was at the time. They were doing okay for themselves. It was a nice place to stay. However, I got this phone call. I got this phone call from quite a concerned and distraught manager of the business, quite late on a Thursday evening, that said, "I think we've just lost our business." I said, "Why? What on earth's wrong?" "I hope not. I'm staying there next Tuesday." And he said, "Well, as you know, we're very proud of the fact that we've got such a great TripAdvisor rating that had over 1,000 5-star ratings over the last 12, 18, 24 months. And they were so proud of it that they actually had a large Perspex backlit sign of the fact that they were a 5-star rated TripAdvisor hotel, and then stuck it to the front of the reception desk. As you walk in, that's the first thing you saw, is this backlit TripAdvisor 5-star rating. They were so proud of it, it was there, prominent in reception. And then he went on to tell me that they'd received a 1-star rating the previous evening. Now, I'm sure, as you're already aware, TripAdvisor deem that the most recent advert, the most recent feedback is always at the top of the pile. And this person had gone to such lengths to talk about their absolutely disgust in what had happened at their previous night's accommodation at this particular hotel, that it had taken up the whole page. It had taken up so much of the page that all of the good stuff had been pushed to page 2. It was almost detrimental, so detrimental to the business that you wouldn't have even looked any further than the first page. And when I read it, I could see why he was concerned. It had suggested that the staff had been rude. It had gone on to suggest that the bar was poorly stocked and was not open all evening, even though it stipulated it had been. That the restaurant was a non-entity, that they hadn't been able or accessible to the sports facilities, to which this hotel is quite proud of its spa facilities, and that they'd been so disgusted in their stay that in actual fact had chosen to get up in the middle of the night at 2 o'clock and leave before breakfast. Middle of the night. And I read it and I could see why he was concerned. So I agreed to meet him. I went over almost straight away. There was nothing much in the diary on the Friday, and I decided that it was worthy to go and assist this guy almost straight away. If nothing else, to be able to make sure that my room was still available on the Tuesday evening of the following week. And we sat down and we wrote the response. Now you see, unfortunately, most of us would be so affronted by this scathing review that would have sat there and quickly typed something back and sent them as a defensive form of email. And it's the most worst thing you could possibly do, is to actually allow that fuel in the fire to be able to continue this fight that they're obviously looking for. It's far better and far bigger for you and the business to be able to turn around and, one, if you've got it wrong, hold your hands up and say, do you know what? I'm really sorry. On this occasion, we slipped from our high standards and we got it wrong. Take the fuel out of the fire. They're not expecting you to admit to it. They're expecting some form of feeble excuse. So don't give it. Hold your hands up, and if it was your fault and you got it wrong, if the customer experience dropped from the high standards that people expect from you, admit it. But then follow it with, but thank you very much for bringing this attention to our attention, because it will now give us the opportunities to be able to demonstrate as to what we're willing to do in order to be able to put it right. And then go to the 8th degree. Go all the way beyond what they expect. Because how many times have you been to a restaurant and the food's been really, really poor, and they've turned around and says, do you know what? We'll give you 50% off the next time you come to us. Well, do you know what? If the food was that bad the first time, I ain't going to be coming back to spend the 50% that you've just given me off. Go beyond what they expect. Offer to pay for whichever hotel they ended up staying in as a result of not coming to yours. Offer to be able to send them somewhere else. Send them some gift vouchers to be able to spend some time at somebody else's hotel. Reward them in such a way that they are so unexpected that even if they choose never to come back to you again, that they are willing to turn around and say, do you know what? They might have got it wrong, but at least they went out of the way to put it right. That's the right way to be able to respond to a scathing review. Unless every single aspect of what's been said, which is what occurred in this particular email, was completely unjust. You see, the email read that a group of people, 2 rooms, 2 parties, had been spoken to very abruptly and shouted at by a member of staff. That they'd not been able to order drinks at a bar at 9:15 in the evening, even though it stipulated that the bar was open till midnight for staying guests. That they'd been prevented from being able to use the gymnasium, even though it had advertised that there was a gym and a sauna and a swimming pool. And that they'd been so disgusted with their stay that they'd opted to leave at 2:35 in the morning. But we crafted the reply to be able to give just answers to the points that they'd raised. First of all, yes, a member of staff did speak quite abruptly to you after you tried to accost our reception staff, and after several warnings of you are not at liberties to be able to physically touch a member of staff. A duty manager, advised you quite strongly to remove yourself from trying to block a member of staff from doing their duty. Yes, you were invited to be able to take dinner with us, but we asked you to leave the restaurant after you started to become offensive to other hotel guests. And yes, we acknowledge that you were also prevented from being able to purchase any more alcohol from the bar after we deemed that you'd already drank significantly enough that your manner had become quite abrasive and offensive to other hotel guests. We acknowledge you were prevented from using the gymnasium. It clearly stipulates that the gymnasium is only available until 9 p.m. every evening, and you were prevented from trying to break into the gymnasium drunk at 11:04. We do acknowledge that you left the hotel at 2:35. This was after we'd phoned the police and asked them to remove you from the room after you'd prevented us from being able to determine as to what the noise was coming from the room, and we feared for either somebody's safety or the safety of our equipment within the room. We acknowledge that your last comment about the hotel should be burnt to the ground has been passed on to the arson department of the fire service for them to investigate your intent for the future. May we welcome you to be able to find alternative accommodation, as you will no longer be invited or welcome to set foot back on our premises. That review alone was seen by 13 people before we had a chance to respond. But our response received 174 positive comments, thanking us for the reassurance that people like that were not welcome on the premises. The booking rate actually went up for midweek, which is when this particular stay had occurred on a Wednesday evening, as a result of our demonstration of the quality of service we will provide for the members who are welcome in our hotel. So please, I know this has been a little bit of a longer video than perhaps I normally put out, but I think it's vitally important that, one, we understand the importance of regularly taking video or written testimonials, email testimonials from all of our happy customers, to be able to respond well and how to respond well to unhappy customers, and to be able to make damn sure that you know exactly what has occurred in your premises and are welcome and willing to be able to defend those actions in the right manner that still attracts more business. I sincerely hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's given you some thought and consideration for how you respond to things in your business. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about how we in the team at My TrueNORTH help people like yourselves to be able to significantly and sustainably grow your business, then please feel free to visit the website at www.mytruenorth.biz or to email us at inquiries@mytruenorth.biz. I look forward to speaking to you soon.